Let's talk some Florida Gator recruiting. DJ Lagway's debut in week 2 has recruits buzzing. The former 5-star recruit, the number 1 quarterback in the 2024 class, is breathing life into Florida Gator recruiting that right now is battling to stay inside the top 20. They're sitting there right at 19 as we speak. In this video, though, I want to know what the impact of DJ Lagway's performance has been on Florida Gator recruiting. I got Corey Bender here from Gators Online, and he's been talking to recruits ever since Saturday's win over Samford. So we're going to break it all down. But first, Gator fans, do me a favor and hit subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel, the best recruiting channel on all of YouTube. All right, let's bring in Corey Bender, Gators Online. So, Corey, you've been working the phones. What's been the recruit reaction after that DJ Lagway performance?
Yeah, as expected, Josh. The first guys we kind of led with were the wide receiver commits in Florida's 25 class. And right now they have 3 of them committed. I think when you look at the recruit reaction, there's not many guys left in the 25 class. You have guys in 26 who are trying to recruit. But as far as the 25 class, they're already fairly almost complete with that. And Vernell Brown obviously is a headliner right there. The word he said it was an amazing performance. He said the future looks bright for us in Gainesville. And I know we're so far away from signing day, but to hear us, I think that's a positive sign for Florida fans. And I think it's going to be tough to flip him anyway, regardless if Napier was let go or if he did stay. He has so many connections to Florida, but I think the one thing he loved too, he just says exciting for a receiver. He goes, I have a mixed route tree, but the way DJ stretched the field was something that really caught his attention. Under Graham Mertz, they would go deep here and there, but it was more conservative when he was under center, a lot of kind of intermediate passes. Mm-hmm. But DJ, he went deep quite a bit in that game. 6 receivers caught a pass for at least 30 yards, and that's something Vernell really liked. And he said, hey, this is a guy that can put us in positions to play very, very well. So, I mean, that was another one. And then, Nashawn Montgomery, he's a kid on Miami Central. He's more of a deep threat. He's a guy, if you watch his highlights, he goes deep quite a bit, a lot of seam routes. It does a good job of getting behind the defense. As expected, he was another one that was very excited. He even said at halftime of his game at Miami Central, I don't know if his coaches will obviously be excited about this, but he caught a few clips of, obviously at halftime what DJ was doing. And he said he wasn't surprised, though. He said I had high expectations for him. And like you said, Josh, 5-star, number 1 quarterback in the high school last cycle. And that's one thing. And the one thing I thought with him, too, is he said, hey, this is a guy who can bring the deep. You look at DJ's stats, obviously it was all through the air. I think he didn't even have 30 yards rushing, but he's a guy that's mobile enough. If he has to get on his feet and run, he can. But I think the one thing he said was, hey, he can bring a defense up, and for guys like me that go deep, all I need is that extra 1 or 2 seconds to really break free. And he says that's a game changer for a guy, with that skill set. So I think overall the response has been great. These receivers, I think those are the ones they had that impressed the most. They might take a 4th receiver. Maybe they use that for the portal. But they have 3 studs in the class right now. And then obviously you have Joshua Moore as well, who's a 6'4" big pass catcher in South Florida.
They're trying to hold on to him.
Yeah. No, the response has been great, from all the kids close to DJ.
Yeah. So, as I said, the Gators are sitting at 19 right now. And in recruiting, the best thing you can sell on the recruiting trail is winning, but you can also sell hope and excitement. And that's exactly what DJ Lagway's performance kind of brings. Have you noticed maybe just a general buzz outside of the wide receiver position, a general buzz, a reaction to what DJ Lagway put on film on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have seen kids taking notice. Offensive line is obviously some other ones. We talked to some offensive linemen who definitely were intrigued, just saying like, hey, this is a guy that they even look like a freshman. Even as post-game press conference, I had one offensive lineman. He wanted to put his name out there at the time, but he said, hey, when I watched his press conference, he goes, I was so blown away by his maturity. The guy really has that leadership qualities as a freshman. And I think a lot of these kids across the country, they already knew DJ, just from being fellow recruits on the recruiting trail. But seeing him just operate, it's been nothing but positive reviews from all those kids. I think with the 2026 class, it's obviously a wait and see because we just don't know how it's going to finish this year as far as if Billy Napier is going to be here or not. And even if those 26 kids do come to Florida, maybe they have 2 years at most with DJ, just depending on his trajectory. Maybe he's a 3-and-out type guy. But I think overall, it has to be Florida's biggest weakness in this class has been 2025 recruiting along the O-line. And right now, they don't have an offensive lineman committed. They're recruiting some guys. You're hoping a performance like this. Solomon Thomas is one, the FSU commit. He's the one he spoke to my colleague Keith Niebuhr, and he was impressed by his performance. He definitely took notice. all you can hope is that convinces some of these guys to return to campus, because after a Miami game, it's a tough sell because you don't know who's going to be, you don't know what the future holds. Maybe I'm going to go visit another school there's a little bit more certainty with. So you're hoping with DJ Lagway's performance, it's just like you said, Josh, put some more fresh air into this program. It just convinces these guys to come back on a visit. Maybe Tavares Dice, an Auburn commit, he wants to come back to campus. So I think it's kind of a wait and see, but all the returns have been very positive.
Yeah, it's all about what you can sell. In DJ Lagway, there's some hope, there's some excitement, and you can see recruits are reacting to it. All right, I want to talk about this weekend. No, I'm not going to ask you who's starting, DJ Lagway or Graham Mertz, but I know Gators Online, Nick De La Torre wrote a great article today on that. You guys can go read it. But I do want to know, who are you hearing is going to be in Gainesville this weekend, because Texas A&M comes to town. It's a 3:30 kickoff, so the Swamp will be rocking. We expecting any recruits on the sidelines?
Yeah, and there's going to be some kids, as always, Josh, as you know. There's going to be some kids that pop up that we weren't expecting. Some kids that may say no early in the week, and maybe they change their mind because it's a 3:30
It's Florida.
kickoff.
I mean, everything's 50 miles away. Why not show up on a Saturday for a game?
Especially against A&M, too, because a lot of these kids are seeing A&M, too. Yeah. But I think it starts with a few of the guys that are committed, to be honest with you. Jalen Wiggins is one who's been strongly committed out of Tallahassee. He's a kid, he's probably one of the faces of the class. He's coming back to Gainesville. He wasn't able to come back last weekend, so continuing to have FaceTime with him, I think, is important, because you have schools like Florida State. I mean, schools across the map still in his ear trying to flip him. I think he's still very solid. Naishawn Montgomery, we just spoke about him. He's another one finally coming back to campus, and he said, I'm excited to see DJ play, whether it's he plays most of the snaps or splits them with Graham Mertz. But, schools like Penn State, LSU, there's still schools pushing for him. So although he is still a Florida commit, and that commitment is still considered strong, like you said, you still got to show these guys promise. And I know Florida's still trying to work on getting Joshua Moore back to campus. And, I think that's one of the more important ones as far as keep holding on to, because we think Miami is the toughest competition for Florida right now. He visited Miami 2 days after that season opener, too, which wasn't a good sign, obviously, for Florida. So I know they're actively working to get him on campus this weekend if they can. Maybe they can kind of get that momentum back on their side. And some other guys right now, Josh, are a lot of 2026 prospects, a lot of notable guys. Simon Caldwell, he's getting out of Jacksonville Bulls, Under Armour All-American safety. One kid to keep an eye on, too, out of Winter Park, West Orange, is Devontae Anderson, a 2026 DB. We put an RPM pick for him several weeks ago. Visited Florida numerous times, and Florida's the leader there. So maybe with a good performance, maybe he pops. So I think overall the list is still growing. They're still actively trying to get these kids to campus. I talked to a few of them that said, hey, I got the invite, but I'm just not sure what I'm doing this weekend. So we'll have a full visitors list posted here soon, and there'll probably be a few surprises as well.
There always is. All right, Gator fans, talk to Corey and I. Let us know, how are we feeling about DJ Lagway, that performance, and do you think it'll make an impact in recruiting? Let us know, comment section below. Well, you've made it to the end of today's video, but there's hundreds more videos on the On3 Recruits channel for you to check out. And also, while you're here, hit subscribe.